Thanks for joining me for another video. This was popular with the UFOs, so I thought I'd go on ahead and do it again. This is the uncut and unscripted video for the PhysiX footage that I got during the comparison. It's not, however, the director's cut, which is actually kind of dumb in retrospect because a director's cut would be cutting it, and this is not cut. So I probably should have thought that through a little bit better. But anyway, once again, we are on the 2019 USBC Open Championship / Nationals doubles and singles pattern, which is 28.4 milliliters of oil, 42 feet of length, so a higher volume of oil, kind of on the long side of medium lengthwise. And as you're watching here, yes, I am getting it back from the 4 and the 5 board. Part of that is the PhysiX. Some of that is there was just more ball motion this year at Nationals than there typically is. Once again, the lane surface and topography is very close to what we see at Nationals every year here at Gage, and so this is where I like to practice before I go out there because it gives me a very true read on the ball reaction and mimics what we see pretty closely. This is exactly how I remember this playing at Nationals this year. Now, the thing that I really like about the PhysiX, it's in a lot of people's bags. It's very popular. It has the most amount of traction and the most amount of back end as far as a combination goes of, I think, anything else out there. You're not going to find anything that both hooks more and has the same amount of shape or motion on the back end. This gives me a lot of confidence in execution to where I can just get out of it super clean, let it fly right, and it'll come back. I don't have to help it out a whole lot. I can kind of just get out of it easy. Now, the other thing to notice or comment on about that as well is this is the pattern the ball was designed for. These are the kind of conditions that this ball was designed for. So it's kind of funny to note that with these stronger balls, I'm actually more comfortable on this shot than I was when I was filming on the house shot, because on the house shot it's quite a bit drier. There's just friction everywhere, and so I have to basically chuck the ball or throw the ball to get it down the lane. I can't concentrate so much on my execution as I can here. These are just nice freewheeling easy shots. I'm not forcing anything. It's just a nice easy roll. And well, I probably should have cut that one out because bowling balls are supposed to strike every time. They do strike every time sometimes if you watch certain videos. But and this is something that I'm not a big fan of in the uncut videos. Once again, is that there's a whole bunch of dead space just waiting for one shot. I like to see repeated shots over and over again so I can get a better idea of the ball motion. Once you have something repeated over and over and over again quickly, you get it reinforced. You get a lot better view of the ball reaction. That one I kind of dumped, but I didn't dump it far enough, I guess. Or I dumped it better than the previous one. I mean, the previous one was a flat 10, so I just decided to throw it worse so it'd strike. But the thing I do like about the uncut videos is that there's a lot of transparency, and I think that this shot right here is one that I left out of the video because I'm going to blame it on something because I'm a bowler, but it was just duck hooked straight left off my hand. Yep, that's not going to make it right at 10, and on a pattern this flat, yeah, that's just what it's going to do. So I do like the uncut videos as far as transparency goes. It lets everybody know that there's not been editing tricks. You're not trying to manufacture anything. This is just actually what's happening. The downside to that is that there's only, I think, 15 to 20-ish shots on this video or on this footage, and it's going to take 9.5 minutes to get through all of it. There's going to be a lot of dead space and a lot of me rambling, which I typically like to do. So there's not a whole bunch of, I think that there's less value in, as far as ball reaction goes. There's more time to talk. There's more time to kind of dig into some smaller nuances of the ball reaction, but mainly there's a bunch of dead space. So I'm not a big fan of that. Now, I am a big fan of shooting videos because instead of actually having to shoot that spare, I can just hit the reset button. You know, it's a whole lot easier if I just throw a strike to begin with, but I I think the other thing that is kind of interesting is that I felt more comfortable on this pattern than I did on the house shot. And that's because I can just execute a normal shot. The Nationals doubles and singles pattern, most of the time, even though they're tougher, even though they're more tricky, I generally feel more comfortable on patterns like this because I don't have to try to force the ball reaction. This allows me to do what I like to do and what I normally do. So one of the other things I like about the PhysiX, I mean, there's plenty of things to like, but this core, I really enjoy this core. And see, there's another 10 pin. I don't know what those 10 pins are about. I thought twisters were supposed to be more active than that. But it turns out when you don't throw good shots, the pins don't fall down. So that's something else to note, is that good shots are kind of important. You know, you can drag every ball in the world into the bowling alley, but if you don't throw it well, they won't strike. That's kind of a pro tip there. But I really do like this core. I like the atomic core because it's very windy, it's very continuous. This feels like what an asymmetric phase 2 would feel like, I think, because the velocity core and the atomic core have a lot of things in common. They're both very windy, they're very continuous, they're aggressively continuous, and they almost look like they accelerate down lane. And so the thing about the PhysiX is, again, the blend of power and control and traction. You wouldn't normally think that on something tougher or flatter that you would want to use something stronger on the back end. Most of the time you think control, you think smooth. But this is something that obviously gives me more room to the right. Here's something that I do want to point out. That ball went just a little bit long, but when I'm filming, I don't move inside. I don't just play one area and then move left as transition forces me deeper. I want to show off the ball from several different zones on the lane, and so the vast majority of the time, I do make my moves before transition forces me to make the moves. And so what you're seeing here is how the ball reacts on the fresh from the different zones on the lane, because there's only, again, 15 to 20 shots here. And once again, yeah, if you miss left, it's not gonna stay there. That is the one downside, again, of using a stronger back-end ball on a pattern like this that's a little flatter in the middle. That stuff's going to happen every once in a while, but it does give me quite a bit more power at the pocket. It gives me quite a bit more room to the right. It does actually give me more area on the lane. So, you know, I'll take a turkey with one of those in the middle followed by another turkey versus, you know, 9 spare, 8 spare, 9 spare. You're going to come out ahead more often than not. And that's one of those things that it's kind of a risk reward thing, but, you know, you just get up there and you throw a better shot. And if you don't throw a bad shot in the first place, like we just talked about, the pins go down and you don't have to worry about it. But I think we're getting fairly close to the end of the video here. As it turns out, even I can't ramble this much, which if you've seen my live streams, you'd find that kind of hard to believe. But I do kind of enjoy sitting here and watching the ball reaction. So back to what I was saying, though. As I move on the lane, you're seeing what the ball reaction looks like from the different zones on basically what is a fresh shot. So it's not like transition's forcing me deeper and you're seeing the result of transition or of carry down or of extra friction in the track. You're just seeing what this ball is going to do from everywhere. And so even though I do have to slow it down and roll it just a little bit more from the deeper angles, it's still strong, it's still back-endy, it's still really continuous. I think this is the last shot right here coming up. Bang. So, good times. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Happy New Year.